screw you for putting me through that, because it was really, really hard. I felt so bad.
Hey guys, and welcome to Prime Focus, the podcast where I do a deep dive into other photographers' brains. And with me today, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Turl. How's it going, man?
All good, thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. So first of all, just tell the guys a bit about yourself, what you shoot, and everything like that.
My name's Eric. I'm just a dude that loves to take photos. I've been taking photos for many, many years. The love of photography started when I was sort of in my late teens, and it's kind of always stayed with me. I went through a bit of a professional stint in my 20s, got burnt out, and now I just pick it up as a hobby, like just something that I like to do, uh, and take my mind off things, just take my mind off, everyday life, kids, family, things like that. It's just my escape. And it's just my creative outlet, basically.
Yeah, I'll feel you on that. That's one of the things that I think locked photography in as like a passion for me. Is it's just that great like escape. Like you got something going on at work or at home. There's nothing better than just like going out with no expectations and a camera and just
Yeah.
going to a location and just spending a couple of hours like headphones in, away from the world, just like capturing stuff.
Yeah,
It's so good.
100%. Yeah, I love to walk a lot and hike and things like that. So my camera is, 90% of the time always with me. So I often find something to capture, even if it's something I don't share. It's just for myself. It's just I see something that I think, oh, that makes a great shot. I'm just gonna capture that. So it's just nice to nice to have that escape.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So, okay, my first question to you, it's my favorite question to ask people, is what got you into photography and what was the first camera you had?
Okay, I think this might be a common theme with quite a few photographers, actually. So I was at college. I was doing graphic design. I was studying graphic design and art history. So I was doing art, fine art, and graphic design. And basically, a small part of that course, that curriculum, was photography. As an art form. And it went over the basics of things like darkroom processing, how to take a photo, how to use a camera, your exposure triangle, things like that.
Mhm.
And I just really, really like the process. I really like that hands-on process. And actually, when I first went out and took a photo or used a roll of film at college and developed them in the darkroom, seeing those photos come to life was like, it was quite an amazing thing. It was like,
Yeah.
shit, this is actually so cool. And it kind of, my interest started to peak. But yeah, like I say, I was studying graphic design a lot, and I was really into like David Carson at the time. He's like a very big graphic designer, and he did a lot of collage work and things like that. So I used to go out as part of my course, just take loads of random terrible photos, print those photos, and then cut those photos up and then make collages and design work out of them.
Oh,
But
that's
the
cool.
more and more I started to take photos, the more and more I started to enjoy it, and my interest for photography slowly started to take over graphic design and art. So yeah, I don't do any design work anymore. I don't do any artwork anymore, and I'm just fully invested in photography now. And my first camera is probably just the generic uh, first thing for everyone, and it was a Canon AE1 program.
Nice.
And that's what I learned to use at college. I'm not sure if it was the program or just the AE1, but it was definitely a Canon A1 or AE1. And I just kind of stuck with me. Like when I went out to buy my first camera, which is a film camera,
Mhm.
it was that one. I mean, this is like 2002, 2003. So
Yeah,
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 just
yeah.
over 20 years ago now. Yeah, that was my first camera and my
Awesome.
first, I guess, the first time I really started to fall in love with photography and the process of it. So
Awesome, man. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a couple of questions from that. So,
sure.
I mean, first of all, it's less of a question, more of a point. I think it's interesting you saying about like the cutting up and making collage and stuff because I very until very recently, when I've kind of moved away from it, really thought about all of the photos that I was getting from like developed and sent back that I wasn't like in love with from the role. I was
Okay.
really tempted to just keep all of them and then like find an artist that would be able to make something collage wise out of it and just say, if you need any particular colors for what you're planning, I'll go out and shoot just those colors and we could make something out of it. And it's still kind of, I think, like in the back of my head as an idea, but it's just really interesting to hear. Like, I've not heard anyone else do that, so it's really interesting to be like, cool. I'm not just coming up with some random idea. Like, it could be done. It does make sense.
Yeah. No, it does. It's pretty much what I used to do. Yeah, just cut things up, make collage is out of them, or turn multiple photographs into some sort of some sort of piece of work. I was really into typography at the time as well. I still love typography. Actually, I just find the art of typography really interesting, and I would kind of just do these pieces that involve like photos and lettering or typography, and it was yeah, it was a really fun process. I kind of miss that hands-on approach actually, um, but I just don't have the room or the money or the time to do all that now. It's
Yeah,
just it's a lot of dedication, and it's that you need a shit ton of room for it. You need a dark room or some sort of dark room process or a method to process your work or film,
yeah,
which I'm in the process of actually doing anyway. But then the other side of things is like just room to cut things up and glue and make a mess, and yeah, I just don't have that ability at home to do that.
yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, that actually touches on like the other like question I had for you. I was going to ask, if you still do your own darkroom stuff. So you're in the process of like making that happen again, or?
Yeah, so I can develop. It's been a what? It's been a very long time actually. So I know how to develop. I mean, I'd probably have to remind myself of the chemical ratios and things like that. But I'm well aware of the process, and it's a process that I always enjoyed doing at college and after college when I was shooting film. I stopped doing darkroom processing because when I started doing like a lot of commercial work with film, I was shooting like 20, 30 rolls a month, and I just didn't have the ability or time to develop film, so
Yeah,
I just started sending it off. So I lost touch with that process. But yeah, I'm getting back into you know sort of darkroom processing now, so I don't shoot a lot of film anymore, not as much as I used to. I still have I still shoot medium format, and I've just invested in a 4x5 camera.
hmm,
So I turned 40 next month, and that was my thing. That was like a treat to myself.
yeah,
And the only way that I can as expensive as like 4x5 is and film is, I think the only cost effective way I can continue to do that is to do it at home. So
hmm,
I'm now in the process of setting up a dark room, well, not a dark room, but a way to develop film and scan it as well at home without needing to send it off, because it's like £8 per sheet to develop. If you shoot 10 sheets, it's like £80 plus the
yeah.
cost of film. It's just not cost effective anyway, but at least at home I can make it cheaper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Make
yeah.
it somewhat cheaper, yeah.
That's one of the things that like I really want to shoot some 4x5 or some 8x10 at some point,
Yeah.
just because I've seen so many people do it, and like obviously we both watch Bad Flashes. I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people, and like it really interests me, like that process of going through. Even if I just went with someone that already had the camera set up and stuff like that, especially for bigger 8x10 stuff, but
Yeah.
that's the thing that puts me off. It's like it's not too bad when you've got to send off like a couple of 35 mil and you just fire it off and you
Mhm.
get it back and you're like, okay, it cost me maybe like 30 quid for both rolls to be developed. It's not the end of the world. It's annoying, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
That medium format, yeah, like you, it costs enough to buy the 10 sheets in the first place and
Yeah.
then have to spend 80 to get it developed is insane.
Yeah, so like medium format is expensive to shoot and develop anyway, because depending on if you're doing 645, 6x7, 6x8, 6x9, you're
Hmm.
only going to get like I think it's like 8 to 12 shots per roll for a
Yeah, yeah.
120. You're looking at at least 15 to 20 quid for Devon scan at a reputable lab. So you depending on the film that you get, you're already up like probably £30 per roll for developing and film purchase and developing and
Yeah,
scanning, right? With my Fuji GW690, I only get 8 shots per roll, so I get even less because it's 6 by 9. um, it works out like £5 a shot. So every shot is like £5. But then when you go up to a large format, it's just even crazier in terms of cost.
yeah,
Yeah, simply for the fact that sheet film is so much more expensive. You get less per pack. I think you can get like 10 packs and 25 packs. But then when you're out in the field shooting, 4 by 5, it's quite a scary thing to do. It's like such a tactile and slow process. You really, really have to get it right. And if you don't nail it, you've effectively just like thrown £20 down the drain. So
yeah.
yeah, so it's a real commitment. But I think it's worth it because the what you get from 4 by 5 is night and day with any other film format. Like medium format's amazing compared to 35 mm, but then when you step up to large format, it's just incredible. It really is.
Yeah, I've very lightly dabbled in some 120 film. So a while ago I got a camera from, I think it was 1954, one of the like the folding bellows cameras that literally ends up being
Okay,
about the size of a phone, but just the front comes down.
sure, yeah, yeah,
And I found it for £20 in a random antique shop while I was away, and I was like, there's very little chance this works, or there's gonna be some holes in the bellows or something. But I was like, even if it doesn't, it's a cool piece of like camera history to just
yeah,
have on display. And I ended up getting some. I think I got gold and some Harman Phoenix, both in 120,
yeah,
and I just took it out, and it came out perfectly fine. Like there was no light leaks, nothing. Um, and that kind of made me want to get something obviously more modern than the 50s, because on that camera it's very much one shutter speed, and you can shoot f11 or f16, and they are your two settings, and that's it. So
yeah,
it's like you've got to make sure you're getting the right ISO for your film, and then you've got those two options, and that's it. So I'm like,
yeah.
that was my first little dabble, and I got them back, and I was just like, oh, I really like that. I need something that's just a little more manual, you know?
Yeah, mine. I'll grab it now. So mine's they call this the Texas Leica because it's just comically huge. Mm. Um, it's just such a great camera. So they do a few different variations of this. This is a 6 by 9. So GW690 with a 90mm fixed lens. You can't change the lens. They do GSW690, which is I think a 65mm lens or something like that. But then they do like a 670 version, 680, and they're all the different medium format,
Yeah.
aspect ratios. But this is fully mechanical. This is the Mark III. It's from the 90s. Um, I've done a bit of research on them, and I think they were actually originally developed by, obviously they were developed and made in Japan, but they were made for like tour guides. So, like when tourists would come to Japan for like bus tour guides and stuff like that, these tour guides had these cameras to take photos of, I guess, what the business was doing or the tours and something like that, which I find really strange because it's a fully mechanical camera. You really need to know what you're doing. Like you really need to know what your exposure triangles and stuff like that. And there's no battery needed for it, so it's quite an odd camera to develop to give to someone just to take random photos. But
Yeah.
I would assume that the people that were doing these tours knew a thing or two about photography. But yeah, this is my one of my favorite medium format cameras, Texas Leica, and I like to call it the poor man's Mamiya 7 because it's just as good as a Mamiya 7, but it's about well, no, maybe not £3,000 cheaper. It's about £2,000 cheaper. So yeah,
Yeah, it is pretty large. I've seen them before,
yeah,
but I've never seen them just like being held, if that makes sense. I've seen photos of them, so I knew they were big, but yeah, that's pretty
yeah,
large.
they are huge. Yeah, I mean, it was actually quite funny. I was just before I picked up, I was like, "Oh, I forgot how light this camera was," and then I picked up. I was like, "No, this is not light at all. This is like, yeah, this is heavy for a film camera because film cameras tend to be quite light because
Yeah.
they don't have huge batteries like what like DSLRs and mirrorless cameras have, and you know and things like that. But yeah, that's a pretty pretty big beast. Yeah.
What's the 35 mil equivalent for that lens? Because it's backwards, isn't it? Like normally when it's cropped sensors and stuff, obviously it's like
Yeah.
slightly more, and they're like 0 point something. Like what is the 90 roughly?
Oh, I don't know. I did look this up. If I remember, if memory serves me, and I can probably Google it, but if memory serves me, I think it's like 40, 44 or something like that.
Yeah.
My GFX is a 0.79 crop, which is around 50 mil, and
Okay.
that's using a 65 mil Miticon. But for the 90, I'm not entirely sure actually.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what we'll do is in the magic of post editing, I'll add up on the screen right now what that
Yes,
would
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah, just a little thing on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember now, yeah. But it's really great. It's a really nice focal length. Any image I've ever got back, I've not found it to be too wide or too, closed in. It's kind of like just a nice all-round focal length. I mean, I haven't actually shot any portraits with that yet,
Mhm.
regretfully, and I've thrown quite a few rolls through it. But what I have shot in terms of landscapes and just scenes that I see, it's perfect. Yeah, I rarely find myself having to like try and get in close or take a step back or anything like that. So yeah, it's just a great camera, and the glass on that is superb. Fuji have always been great for their cameras and their glass. So yeah,
Yeah.
hats off to them.
I mean, talking about one of the two cameras that I can see behind you,
Yeah.
what's your current go-to setup for gear?
Yeah, my so I don't shoot 35 anymore, which is a bit crazy to say because I don't like the aspect ratio of 35 mil. It's 3:2, but the 6:9 is actually the same aspect ratio. It's 3:2, and I just crop in post because the 670 or 680 versions of them, sorry, are way more expensive than the 690. And I
Yeah.
just thought I can save myself £500 and just crop everything in post.
Yeah, why not?
And because the resolutions is insane, right? You get a high res TIFF at like 40, 50 megs on a 6:9 negative. You've got so much room to crop anyway. It's great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this is my go-to. This is my GFX 50S2 with the Miticon, and that's equally just as big. Because I only shoot medium format anymore. When you, I love 35 mil. Don't get me wrong, and I have a Fuji X-T1 just there, which is obviously an APS-C, and it's obviously a very small crop compared to medium format. But when you make that jump, you really just can tell the difference between image quality and rendering and resolution. But yeah, this is crazy to say that this is my go-to daily camera because it's so big and heavy.
Yeah.
But I've never had more fun with a camera than this. I love it, and yeah, I just think it's superb.
Yeah, I've been really tempted by some of the digital medium formats,
Yeah,
but it's just the cost. It's just the
yeah,
cost of like the original body and before you even add the glass on and stuff like that. That's the only thing that's put me off. But like otherwise, like I've seen some of the results coming out, and I'm just like just that ability to crop to whatever you want,
yeah.
um, and just having that. Yeah, it's just such a big raw file, and you just like you can push and pull and do whatever you want to it. It's
Yeah,
almost like I know it sounds really stupid, but like it's almost like you can go out and as long as you get the photo that you're kind of after, like composition wise, you can make sure you get what you wanted in post, if that makes sense. But
yeah, of
much
course,
more
yeah.
than like any cropped or just full frame.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely. Yeah, the possibilities are, I wouldn't say endless with them, but there is a lot more room to work with, in terms of the ability to crop. It's 50. I mean, this camera is 50 megapixels.
yeah,
That's so much megapixels. You don't unless you're doing campaigns that are going to be on billboards, you don't actually need 50 megapixels.
no,
I
yeah,
mean, the new ones are like 100 megapixels now, and I'm just like Jesus. Like, why do you need that much? Um, but yeah, medium format digital, like. it's definitely a thing. It's start. I feel like it's starting to increase in popularity. I think people are starting to see the benefits now, especially with the rising cost of film.
Yeah,
Kodak's prices have gone up even more. I'm pretty sure that other companies like Ilford and stuff like that are going to follow suit. So there's people that probably want to get almost that same depth of field and clarity that you would do with like film on medium format
yeah,
in a digital variation. But yeah, I mean, I feel when you talk about gear, I find gear hard to talk about. Really, I feel like a bit of imposter in photography because I'm not a gear head. I know what I know and I like what I like, so I don't really
yeah,
know much about other digital medium format cameras other than probably the Hasselblad X2D and the
yeah,
new X2D2.
yeah.
That is such a mouthful. It sounds like a Star Wars character.
It does,
Um,
doesn't it?
yeah, I don't know too much about them. I don't spend time looking into cameras and getting overly invested in all the all the technology, but I know what I know and I like what I like.
Yeah,
But yeah, this GFX, this come out in like 2016. It's like it's nearly 10 years old. Some people
yeah,
would be like, "Oh, the camera's too old." I'd never shoot with a 10-year-old camera, but it's 50 megapixels, man. Still it's still relevant. It's still
yeah,
relevant
yeah.
in today's world of photography. So
It, it makes me laugh that you say that because I come across so many people that are just like, how old is that camera? And I tell them like, I one of the first people that I started watching on YouTube was Ali O'Keefe from
right.
1 Month 2 Cameras,
Oh yes,
and
yeah, yeah,
so she uses everything as old as possible,
yeah,
and I've always loved that thought of being like, well, I mean, secretly, one is great because if you're into that kind of stuff, it's way cheaper. But like, I just love being able to just be like, well, if I pick up a camera that is, I mean, even back to 1954 for one of them, and I can still get a good image out of it. Like, one, surely that's going to aid me when I pick up a camera that's way more helpful to me, and two, it's just that like sense of achievement where some of the like one of the cameras I've got up there is like the little Ricoh GX100, and
yeah,
it's like 15 years old, and it's just this little 1/1.7 inch sensor. I think it's like 10 megapixels. And some of the images I've got from that, I love so much.
yeah,
And when I picked up the X half recently, and I thought to myself, like, oh, that'll be my like new kind of just like documenting life and moments kind of camera, one that I won't particularly be sharing, but like it's just for me. Do I still need that GX100?
hmm
And I can't sell it. Like I can't bring myself to do it. And it's just so like now the collection that used to stay balanced is just growing. Um, but it's crazy. Like people will write off a camera as soon as it's 5 or 6 years old, and it's just like the difference in technology in the last 10 years compared to the 10 years before that is like not really much at all. Like you think 20 years ago a camera compared to 10 years ago, big difference.
of course,
Look
yeah,
at 10-year-old camera to now, and you're like, okay, it probably has a little bit more like dynamic range and maybe more megapixels and a slightly bigger sensor and a smaller body. But
yeah.
outside of that, like, there isn't a huge change, I don't think.
It's a really interesting point because a couple of months ago, I was talking to Kyle McDougall. We was out taking photos, and we was like, what is the future for cameras? Like, cameras now are so amazing. They're just insane. The capabilities that you can get in a camera now, like the new Hasselblad internal storage, I think it's 2 terabytes.
Mhm.
You'll probably never fill that up. Um, and fast as shit. And 100 megapixels. Like,
Yeah.
where is camera technology going to go? I almost feel like it's peaked so much and it's gone so
Mhm.
far that like I honestly can't work out where it's going to go now. Like, if we asked each other the question, like, if a camera got released tomorrow, what would it need to just completely blow your mind that would just be so new and out there?
Yeah.
I almost feel like we're years away from something like that now. Like, we've stepped up now from 50 megapixels to 100 megapixels. Like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Because like in 2005, 2006, when medium format digital cameras were coming out. I mean, there are older ones, obviously, with Hasselblads and the digital backs, but like, you slap a medium format sensor size in a digital camera, and you go, oh yeah, this is 50 megapixels. If I woke up 10 years ago and knew that, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, this is insane, 50 megapixels. Like,
Yeah.
but now I don't know what I would. I don't know what I could wake up to tomorrow that would blow my mind. It's a really weird landscape at the moment for
Hmm.
gear. Um, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know where it's going to go. And to your point, those old cameras that they've got so much characteristic. You pick up those even older ones with those. I think they're like a CCD sensor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're just like that. They got that film like feel to it. It's really old. It's really nostalgic. You know, and I think people obsess over resolution and megapixels too much.
Yeah.
If you're a competent photographer and you can get a good photograph from anything, whatever the medium is, even if it's your phone, it doesn't matter. A good photograph is a good photograph, no matter where, how, or what it's taken with, right?
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, that's. I think that's my thoughts.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
think like to touch on what you're saying, like what would you like wake up to and be like, wow, like camera gear wise? I think for me, the way that it's gonna go is they're just gonna be trying to get more and more features and tech and larger sensors into bodies the size of like the GR range. I
yeah,
think that's going to be like a lot of the move, because that is the way at the moment. People are moving away. Like people love phones, of course they do, but more and more, even for like pro level photographers, people just want a thing they can have in their pocket that isn't their phone that they can get photos with.
sure, yeah,
And it like a dream camera for me, and I definitely could have bought it. Like I've just bought the X half for like £500. I could have spent a couple of £100 more and just got this, but I really want the GR3X. Like
that's such a great camera. It really
40,
is. Yeah,
35, 40 mil is like the focal range that I just love. I like the focal length that I love, and like, but for me, I think the thing that would make me spend like thousands of pounds without even thinking about it is if there was something, even if it was just in the GR range, that had three changes. One, that it was properly weather sealed. Two, I'd love some form of small either inbuilt or pop up EVF because I love being able to use a viewfinder.
yeah,
And three, I would love, and like obviously the body would have to be slightly bigger to incorporate these things. And I think that's fine because it's not particularly big as it is. Like you can already get into any jeans pocket. Like a little bit more size, I think would all survive. Um, I'd love it if, considering it's already a moving lens anyway, I'd love it if we just had like a very small amount of adjustment. Like I know it's fixed 35 at the moment, and I don't even think it needs to be like a big amount of adjustment, but like a 20 to a 40 or a 24 to 50, like that would be so good for that camera.
yeah,
Just being able to be like a little bit wider when you're getting like a great landscape or a cityscape or a selfie with people, but then just being able to like punch in a little bit for that 50 mil if you want to use that for street photography. Like I love 50 mil for street. So I think
yeah,
like if I woke up tomorrow and they were like 2 grand but it has all these things, I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing it now.
yeah.
Like
It's interesting, isn't it? Like they're such great cameras. I was even thinking about this with that Ricoh camera. Even if they brought out like uh, the Mark IV or whatever, but they had interchangeable lenses, but they only had say three lenses. One was like a pancake, like an 18 mil, really super slim. Then they
yeah.
had another one that was like the 35 that what they've got, and then another one that's more like 50 mil or a bit more, you know, just a bigger focal length. All still
Yeah.
relatively small lenses, but still keeping in that theme of like convenient and pocket size and things like that. But it kind of takes it away when you're starting to introduce like interchangeable lenses, right? But
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's such a great camera. I've not had the pleasure of using one too much. Someone's just at my door. That's great timing. Yeah, I've not had the pleasure of like really using one for a long period of time. I've taken a couple of snapshots on one because a few friends have them,
Yeah.
and I've been very impressed by it. If I if I if I want to get a camera that I want to go out and just take snapshots of, or just take really great photos without having to lug masses of gear around, that's one of the cameras on the list that I would definitely consider buying because they're just amazing. They're really great.
Yeah, I think I have a family wedding to go to. I think tail end of next year. I think I'm gonna get one before then, just so that I can like have it in the inside pocket of a suit and
Yeah,
just get a bunch of photos, pop a little flash on it, and get some photos with just friends, family, all the candid stuff. Like just so that at the end I can turn to the family member and be like, "You've got your photos, but I also took a bunch of them just for like cool keepsake stuff, like the things that other photographers, like the paid photographers, aren't looking for,
yeah.
especially if you don't have a second shooter on your wedding day. But yeah, I think yeah, I need one so badly.
Yeah, those that camera's great for that sort of things. Those candid, sort of B-roll behind the scenes, um, images that you want to get at a wedding. As great as like wedding photography is, it's very set up. It's very, kind of straight and vanilla.
Yeah,
The life of the party and the atmosphere is better captured with those kind of like those type of cameras. I think those quick point and shoots, those cameras that can perform in really low light, amazing
mhm.
autofocus. Yeah, it's just a great choice for, I think, any photographer that just wants to capture something quick,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
not have to think too much.
yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, talking about photos
Yeah,
and how to get great photos, let's have a look at some great photos that you've taken. So
yeah.
you sent me across, as always. I asked for people's like favorites. I know that that's a tough ask. I wouldn't be able to narrow it down to three, and every single person that I have asked so far is mad at me for asking that question.
It
um,
was really hard, and screw you for going putting me through that, because it was really, really hard. I felt so bad. I was looking at other photos, and I'm like, you know, I feel really bad not including that photo, and it's strange to think because that photo's got no thoughts or feelings whatsoever. But I just, I was
feel
like,
like, but it's so good, I can't not include it.
yeah, it's like, how do I get this down to 3 photos? Which is why I included 2 honorable mentions, because they're not, I mean, they are really good photos. Sorry, that's an arrogant thing to say. They're, in my opinion, they're good photos that I've taken, but, they're honorable mentions because I just think they look great. But, they're up there. If it was like a top 5, that would be in the top 5, they're like
Yeah,
4th
yeah,
and 5th place, but it was really, really hard to narrow this down.
yeah. I mean, the person that was an episode before you, or should be an episode before you, depending on how I schedule this out, called Paige. I said to her like narrow it down, and she sent me like 20 photos and was like, pick three. I can't do this. I was like, okay. So I just like picked three, and she was like, you chose a good three. I was like,
Yeah.
why could you not have chosen these three?
It's like any top 3, top 5 list, isn't it? Football players or films or music or bands. It's just, it can cause so much controversy and between people and arguments, and I was just arguing with myself for ages. I said to my fiance, "It's like I just don't know what to choose." Um, and yeah, it was hard to do. It was really hard to do. But
I guess it's like I'm kind of going through it at the moment because I'm trying to design a website, and you're picking images that like represent you and
of
your
course, yeah,
art style and like the way you like to shoot. And I'm struggling to do that for 3 portfolios that are like street, travel, and car, and I'm trying to get it into like 12 good images for both, and I'm struggling to pick 12 for each. So trying to get three down.
mm.
I apologize. I apologize to you, to previous guests, and to all future guests. um, But let's have a look. So this first image, which if you're under the age of 18, look away from the screen now,
Oh, yeah, I'm
because this
literally
is a bad word.
yeah.
But this first image, tell me about it. I love it straight away, but before I tell you why I love it, tell me about it.
Yeah, I just find it so funny, that there's a guy painting graffiti and the word he happens to just be painting is the word "fuck." It's like my favorite swear word, and I don't know, man, like, you know, one of your questions you had to me, and prior to this was like, what makes a good photograph? And I don't wanna get into that now because I'm sure we'll get to it, but I don't know, I think there's so much emotion or something to be said about that photo, which is why I love it so much. Like, why are you painting the word fuck, or what is this going to say? And I
Yeah,
just think it's really, I think there's a good amount of humor to it. I like to think I framed it pretty well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was a very quick spur of the moment thing. It's like it was on my AE1 and I had it on aperture priority. And it was really sunny. So I just literally just chucked my camera down to like f8 or something like that because it was so sunny, and I just
Mhm.
snapped it and I was like, I hope to God this comes out, because after I took that shot he kind of stood up and walked away and he wasn't really around the word. So to have him and the word included in the photo, there's a
Yeah.
nice few elements to it. um, I just find it really funny. I really do. I've submitted this photo to many, many open calls, and they've all been rejected because of the profanity in it. But
Yeah.
I think if you're a, I think if you enjoy street photography, and like humor in work, I think this photograph is for you. Like, if I didn't take this photo and someone said, "Oh, look at this street photo from this book," I would think, "Yeah, that is incredible. That is so
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
That's such a great photo." So that's why it's up there for me as one of my favorites. I just think it's hilarious and just not
Yeah.
something you see every day, right? When do you ever
No.
see like a giant 9 foot word saying "fuck"?
What I love as well is like, um, I have a couple of questions on it, but like first of all, what I love about it is when you look at it, you can't tell straight away until you look around a bit more as to whether he is painting the word or painting over the word,
Yeah,
which I love so much. And it's only when you like explore the image a bit more and see the paint roller that's black that you're like, okay, cool. He's definitely painting the word.
yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, I
But when
don't
you
know
first
if it
look,
was
it's
like a
like,
white background and he's kind of
yeah,
filling in the black around it, which I think is true, but, um, yeah, is he painting it, and why is he so angry, or is he removing it? It's
yeah,
and I think that's great. You look at that photograph and you're like, you know, you're trying to decide what's going on, right? You're trying to decipher the photo, and I still look at that photo to this day, and there's still things about it that I think about. Why is he writing it? It's just great. Love it.
What did you? I'm going to assume yes, but was that? Did you shoot that natively on black and white, or was it
Yes,
shot in color?
I can't remember the stock. I think it's Neopan, Fuji Neopan, but I don't remember shooting Neopan back in the day. And I shot a lot of T Max, Kodak T Max, and
Mhm.
so I'd have a feeling that it was T Max, but it was definitely a black and white film for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to say like that point in the day when the sun is super out and there's long dark shadows is like
yeah.
perfect black and white time, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of contrast to that photo, and if you look at the sky, there's just like no detail in the sky whatsoever. So I
Yeah.
don't think it was cloudy. I just think it was just a clear blue day.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, I do like the contrast in that photo. What I quite like, and if I maybe thought about it a bit better, is to try and get that black and white divide on the wall more centered. But
Mhm.
I think I would have lost the word fuck there, because
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
right
yeah.
behind me was another wall, so I didn't really have a lot of room to work with anyway.
I
Um,
think I think it works as well because like you're it looks like he's at the beginning of a sentence and you've captured that beginning of the sentence. So I
yeah,
think like that gap of white to the right is actually just you don't know what's going to go there, and I
yeah,
think it doesn't it's good that it isn't centered if that makes sense because you're It looks like the very beginning of like the very beginning of a page in a book. You're seeing that first word as it's being like the sentence is being written.
Agreed. Yeah, your
I also like
imagination can definitely fill in that blank space, can't it? Great, yeah.
there's many options that could go
Yeah.
there.
I can't remember
Um,
when that was taken, maybe 2012. I don't really know what was going on in 2012. The Olympics, maybe it was like, "Fuck the Olympics," I don't know, or I don't even know who the prime minister was then, but I don't know, man. It could even just be a song lyric, who knows, that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so great.
That could be it. He might not write any other words.
Yeah,
It's just
just
that
word
one word.
he just woke up
Done.
today and just chose violence. He's like, "I'm just gonna paint this word. Screw it."
I also love, and I've only just noticed it, just the luck of having the white paint roller be on the black side and the black paint roller be on the white side. It's just worked out like perfectly timed. Like,
You
and
know
it
what?
just
I never noticed that before. That's interesting, yeah. That's like a yin and yang, isn't it? You
yeah,
got
it's
yeah,
just like
I mean, that was totally by accident, man. I can sit here all day and say I meant to do that, but no. That's actually
it,
really cool. I never noticed that
it,
before.
well, it goes down even tighter. If you look at what is either like a can of beer or a spray can,
Oh,
what I
yeah.
like about that as well, also the black and white is reversed to the wall. So the white is on the black side, the black's on the white side, and it's like every time you look at this image, you just find like another little bit. And I love that when there's an image that you just like already visually striking, already love it,
Yeah.
but then you keep looking, you're like, oh shit, like this and oh this.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you spotted that because I never spotted that, and I've looked at this photo thousands of times over the last, like, 12, 13, 14 years and never noticed that. That's so cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I just never noticed that.
Well, now you can just be
Nice.
like, yeah, I waited for him to be at the perfect time with the perfect paint rollers on
Yeah.
the
Then
side.
it feels more set up and on purpose, don't it? And it's kinda then it feels less authentic, really, but yeah, um, just yeah, completely by chance.
I'm glad I could find that for you, sir. So this second shot, where we are looking at a child playing football
Yep,
and a woman crossing the road. Um, it kind of looks like Barbican area based
is,
on the
yeah.
framework.
It was the day that we went to Caleb's photo walk, and
Ah, okay.
I met you very briefly that day. It was really
Yeah.
hard to talk to everyone that day, and I didn't get a chance to speak to you too much. But yeah, I about an hour to 2 hours before that meetup, I just wandered around Barbican trying to get some shots because I wasn't sure how much time I'd have to do that on that photo walk.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was there. I love that shot.
me too.
Yeah,
It's I like the you I don't know how to describe it, but like you get that kind of like there's a person just going about their day up the top, completely unaware of like another human going about a completely different day,
yeah.
and the only thing that's separating them is a wall and like 10 feet.
Yeah. I,
Like
I, I took my time with this one. I really waited because I noticed that the kid was playing football quite a lot, and he was just having a lot of fun. It was really great to see just this really innocent child, just like playing football, having no worries about the world or anything like that, no responsibility. And I was like, I really need to have someone walk past
yeah,
up top. And strangely enough, I think it was a Saturday that we was on that walk, but I
yeah,
don't know why. But it was so quiet around that road that I don't know why. Up towards, I think it's the museum or the library up that where that
hmm,
woman's walking. There was just like no one around, and I was like, I really need to get someone in this shot. And the first person that walked past just had to have to have had a pink like cardigan on or something or jumper.
yeah,
And I was just like, God, this, you can't write this shit. Like, this is just like, I don't, it's just another, I think it's just another example of like patience paying off. But yeah, I just really like it. I mean, any person that stepped into that frame, no matter what they were wearing, would have definitely have made that photo what it is. But the fact that she's got pink and she stands out was just like that cherry on top.
yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, it's when I first had a quick look through. Um, I This is one of those images where like I couldn't put my finger on what I loved about it, and obviously I was like looking at it a bit more, but it was just one of those images that like I just instantly knew I liked. And it
Yeah.
felt as well like one of those images where I would have done the exact same thing and I would have been stood there waiting for someone to come through that gap at the top.
Yeah, it was hard, man, because the kid, like I say, the kid was coming in and out of frame. I was waiting for someone to come in, from the other side, that woman. It was just pure luck, that they just happened to be in frame at the same time. You could have been, if you, some photographers will wait in a spot for hours just to get that
Yeah,
one perfect moment. And I committed to waiting, and it happened quite quick. As soon as I captured it, I was like, right, I need to move on. I'm not going to be able to beat this.
yeah,
And I just,
yeah,
when I got home that day, or the next day when I started editing photos from that day, it was the first thing I opened. I was like, I need to look at this shot, and I was just so happy with it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's great. It's a great shot.
thanks.
And let me have a look at your third shot. So explain this one to me. I like the pattern. I think that would draw me to want to take a photo there as well. I
Yeah.
like what was it about the scene for you?
I just like really weird stuff, or just things that are out of place. I mean, you might get that from my work, that theme. Like, I'm a big fan of like the new topographic photography movement, and I just like things that just are a bit weird and odd, or just stand out. Things that I think people would walk past every day and just not really have second thoughts on. But there's just something in my brain when I see something like that that goes, shit, I love that. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my design background, but this is just like a back of an old tire shop where I live, and there was just this red little like fence or gate that's folded up. There's a can of like AdBlue to the right, and it's like a small part of a green shed poking through. And there's just so many lines and intersecting parts, and then like the patterns of the tires.
Yeah,
It's just so satisfying.
yeah, they are.
It just really is. Like, there's no story behind this photo. There's nothing about this photo that makes you go, holy shit, this is incredible. This is like the most groundbreaking, documentary photography I've ever seen. It doesn't have any kind of like poignant or historical point to it. It's just a satisfying image, I think.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I've got to capture this. And
This is one of the reasons that like I ask for people's like favorite photos rather than what they think is like their best photos,
yeah,
because it's really interesting to me as I'm like going further through and through what I hope will be a very long series of talking to a lot of different people. But it's really interesting for me to have photos like this be included where if I said, "Give me your best 3 photos," people would pick the 3 photos they think that, like, the viewer would find the most pleasing,
yeah,
or the one that had the most reaction when they posted it on Instagram or when they've shown it to people. But with photos like this, like, it tells me more about you as a photographer and, like, what makes you wanna take a photo
mhm.
than anything that could be a best photo ever would, and so that's, like, I'm really happy that people include photos like this in that list. And like to touch on that, like you kind of briefly said it before, but what does make a good photograph for you?
Yeah, I think for me personally, so this isn't like, oh, this is what makes a good photograph, from just a but from a general point of view. But for me, a photo that kind of like sort of evokes any sort of emotion or sparks some sort of thought to your photo. So if I see a photo that like makes me wonder about the story behind it, or the scene that's being captured, or makes me feel any type of curiosity about it, um, I feel that's for me what makes a good photo, when there's not necessarily a meaning behind it, although it would evidently have some sort of meaning because there's a story there somewhere. But if I can look at a photo and go, Jesus, what the hell is going on in this photo? That to me is a good photo. If I can linger looking at that photo over a period of minutes, hours, or days, or months, or years, there's still photographs that I see years and years later for some of my favorite
Yeah.
photographers, and I can still think about it. For me, that's a great photo, in my opinion. I come across like plenty of technically amazing photos on Instagram, like absolutely just amazing photos that are just so technically sound and perfect that they're just mind blowing. How people have the patience and the knowledge and the experience to capture an image like that.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, those images. But that's usually where it ends for me. It's like, oh wow, that's technically such a great image,
Hmm.
and then that's it. Um, but when I look at work of photographers like, Joseph Rodriguez is probably hands down my all-time favorite photo photographer. And not many people know who this guy is, and I can get to that later because I have his book here.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, if I see work by him or Lindsay Addario, these are prominent documentary photographers or war photographers. And if I find myself pausing and I see when I see their work, I find myself pausing and looking at those photographs because they have such a heartbreaking or poignant meaning behind them. They tend to stay with me for longer,
Yeah.
because there's genuinely a deeper story behind those. So for me, that's what makes a great image, in my opinion. Like I can look at photos of these beautiful photos of mountains and the Alps, and I take these photographs too because I love to capture them because they're incredible scenes of nature.
Yeah.
But if I see a photograph of, like, what Joseph Rodriguez does in the night it did in the 90s, capturing gang culture in South Central LA and the impact
Mhm.
that has on children and families. Like there's a photograph in here, and I'll find it for you in a bit. Actually, no, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll find it now.
Yeah.
Um,
While you're finding it, I'll just say, like, I think it's very easy as like creatives to just get bogged down on like only what you see on Instagram or what you see on X or people posting on YouTube. Like, you have a YouTube channel, obviously I have a YouTube channel, we're on it. But it's really easy to just see like what people think everyone else will want to see, and so that's the only stuff they post. And that's why sometimes in my videos I'll post stuff where I'm like, I didn't really like this photo, so that's why I moved on to another angle, to kind of show that, we don't just take great photos every single time. A lot of the time you'll go out and shoot 100 photos in a day and love 10 of them, and that's if you're lucky. But I've been trying to get more into trying to get some like printed work and enjoying stuff like that,
yeah,
because I literally just yesterday found a book that's like about this thick, and it's literally just a collection of a load of incredible street and documentary photographers throughout history, and it's like basically like a statement about their work, and then just pages of their photos. And I
is it
went to buy it,
is it a
and I
Magpie book?
potentially, yeah. I
Yeah,
can't remember. I spoke to my other half, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to get it. And she was like, or, it's Christmas, you could not. So instead, I have to wait like a couple of weeks from time of recording to get it.
yeah,
And it makes me very sad. But yeah, like I even started like with this here. Um, I bought that from the photographer's wife while I was on a trip in Berlin.
right.
And I was at this massive market, and it was basically all just like food and textiles and things like that. And then I found one photography stall, and I was standing chatting like, oh, who's the photographer? And she was like, oh, half this work's mine and half of it's my husband. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh, damn. And so like getting to like meet those people now is like, and what kind of spurs on doing stuff like that, like this, right? Is like, it's like my goal now, like learning more by like getting proper work and meeting proper people rather than just like looking at Instagram, which is too easy to do.
100%, yeah, 100%, yeah. Instagram definitely has its flaws, but there's some great things that can be done with it as well.
Mhm.
I found that photo, by the way,
Yeah, yeah, show.
at the front of the book. It was, in the last place I would have looked, ironically. I'm going to read the statement that Joseph put, and then I'll show the photograph. And this, for
Mhm.
me, this photo has stayed with me for so long. Um, so the morning after a rival gang tried to shoot Chivo for the fourth time, Chivo teaches his daughter how to hold a 32 caliber pistol. Her mother looks on, Boyle Heights, and this is the photo. You see that?
Yeah, Jesus
So
Christ.
there's a baby, like she's probably 2 or 3, holding a loaded weapon by her dad, who's, whether he's a gang member or not, I don't know, but he just happens to live in a really shit part of LA where
Yeah.
gang activity is high, and for me, this is just like all about survival and daily life, like this man is having to teach his daughter how to, you know, protect herself for the inevitable, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and this is why I love this book, and this is why I love Joseph Rodriguez as well. I actually reached out
Same.
to Joseph Rodriguez a couple of years ago to say that I got this book, and how much it changed. It didn't change me, but just changed photography for me.
Mhm.
Photography was less about pretty pictures and nice photos, and it gave it a deeper meaning and connection. And I actually stole this book from my school library, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. As much as bad stealing is, but this is the effect that this book had on me. And I actually went back a few years ago and put £20 in a charity for that school, just to pay back. But yeah, this is my
Balance out the karma.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this is my favorite book by far, and I think Joseph Rodriguez. Anyone should look him up because every photo in there has some deeper meaning. It's just heartbreaking. It really is. It's heartbreaking stuff, but it's just so good. It's just such great photography.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever thought about like putting together a body of work like that, and like, or what you would want to do that about?
Yeah. So when I was doing a lot of commercial work, I kind of got burnt out with photography quite quickly because I was just doing so much work for everyone else. I had no time to do anything for myself.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get back to like just some personal work. I wanted to do stuff that was personal for me, that had meaning, and I still want to do this. And I just need to find a way to do it. But I do want to release a book. I've got a 10-year plan basically. So I turn 40 next month. By 50, I want to be able to at least release a book about my photography, or
Mhm.
and have a project in mind. I'm not going to tell you what that project is because I kind of want to keep it a secret. But
Yeah,
there's
of
a, there's
course.
a
Yeah.
there's a long evolving project that I've had in my head that I've never done anything with, and I wanted to do it based on what Joseph Rodriguez did, and that was to do like photograph and interview people that were victims of knife crime. Because you
Mhm.
remember, in the UK a couple of years ago, I think it was like before COVID, there was just such a spike in like knife crime in London, especially.
Yeah.
Um, that I think in like 1 month in January there was like an insane amount of like knife crime murders, right? It was crazy. It was like an all-time high. And I just wanted to reach out to people that were impacted by that, by knife crime, the impact and what that does for people, family, friends, and I would love to do that, but I have no way of knowing where to start. Like
Yeah.
I just don't know how I can approach a mum or a dad and say, "Oh, hey, I know you lost your son to knife crime, but I would really love to take your photograph and hear your story."
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
said that to me, I'd be like, "Hey, man, like this is really personal. I'd really not want to, but I would love to do something like that." And whether that's something that comes to fruition, I don't know, but it's a pipeline dream. But we'll see.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've I've got like a few kind of projects on the go at the moment where like they're things that I think would be cool,
Yeah,
but they're maybe not like the one, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
I've got a couple where I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to like maybe not even do like a full book, but do like a zine or something on like these kinds of things. But like one of the things I want to discover like over maybe the next 12 months is I really want to be able to try and like it's a hard thing obviously to do, but I really want to be able to like pin down and start working on like that project. Do you know what I mean? Like the one that you think about and you're just like, yeah, this is exactly it. And I need to find that project first.
yeah.
um,
It is
but
hard to find a subject, and I think it's very hard to sit down and go, right, I'm going to make this project. It's going to be about this, and this is the end goal. And then I think you failed already because you're setting
yeah.
yourself too many unrealistic targets. Like
Mhm.
I, um, I've got like 8 projects in my head that I want to do, and none will ever come to life because I've just set myself way too many expectations. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes what you might find is if you try and set yourself a project, I am going to shoot this, you never will. It's almost like it has to happen naturally or by accident. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing a mini project at the moment that no one knows about, but I'll tell you is I'm taking photos of like broken fences. I keep finding like metal fences that have been crashed into by cars or that are fallen
Mhm.
apart, and they're just shit. They're really bad, but like I keep finding myself taking photos of these fences. I keep discovering them, and it's almost like a comical. It's like comical now. Everywhere I go, I'm like, oh, there's a broken fence. I'm going to take a photo of that. It's just so funny. It just keeps following me, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
even mean anything. Imagine releasing a book on just photos of broken fences, but I just keep seeing them and I keep capturing them, and I just find it so funny and ironic, you know. And that's just a project that just evolved from like just finding them, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Came to me. It's like if I sit, you would never sit down and go, "I'm going to take photos of broken fences." Would you? Like everyone would just go, "What are you doing?" Like that's just stupid.
The craziest thing is I can't remember if it what have you there's a guy with a channel in America called Paulie B, and he does these
Would it
things
be?
called
Yeah.
walkie talkie.
Oh yeah, the walkie-talkie series
Yeah.
is so good. Yeah.
There is, I swear, there is a walkie talkie about a guy who just takes photos of chain link fences.
Oh
And
really?
if I can find it after this, I'll send it to you. But I
Brilliant.
remember later on seeing in a completely different person's video them going to his gallery, and there's a whole section of just that work in a gallery. And I was just like, it's crazy how like if the thing you take a photo of has a clear intention and gives across the message that your like statement on the work like is meant to give across,
Yeah.
it can be loved by so many people. But if you just went, here's a broken fence, and then there was no like why,
Yeah.
people would be like, well, I don't get it. But if
Yeah.
you can be like, this is why I'm taking it, this is what it means, it's taken in this like whole, people see it in like a different view, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
like I'm hoping over the next like 12 months by doing this, by getting through more physical pieces of like photography and art and like photo books and just being out and shooting with more people, that's like my way of trying to make myself find that thing, if that makes sense. But rather than thinking about it, just being involved in as much as I can, hoping that I like find that inspiration. Because the other three I've got, they'll probably be released at some point because I just have them as folders in my Lightroom. And anytime I see a photo and I'm like, I actually really like that and it kind of fits this description, I just drag it into that folder and I'm like, cool. When there's like 100 images in there, I'll cut it down to like 60 and do a zine.
yeah,
But they're not like passion projects. They're just like, I think they'd be cool to do projects. So
definitely. Yeah, I think doing the zine is great, man. Like, I think zine culture's died a lot. You know,
yeah,
I used to rummage around on Tumblr, you know, many years ago, what, like 2010 maybe, and, I just feel like when I was really proactive with photography back then, 2010 to, like, 2012, um, there was so many great photographers on Tumblr and companies and you know things were popping up in London, you know, these design agencies and these amazing creatives, and I felt like the zine culture back then was amazing.
yeah,
Oh, I'm going to just print my work and you know I'm going to sell it for like 10 quid, and it whatever that work might be, like it could be like collage work, you know, like we spoke about earlier. It could be photos, it could
mhm,
just be people like sketching and writing notes and stuff, but I just feel like zine culture's died a little bit, and it'd be cool to see it back because I think zines are really quite personal. They're very hands-on, you know, they're not as like, or they don't have to be as like perfect and as like very professional as a book.
yeah.
I like to see zines as more of like a diary, just like, you know,
Mhm.
just chuck loads of ideas and things into it and just sell it to people or give it away to people.
Yeah, like
It's a cool
that's my
thing.
plan. Is like I think if I say it when hopefully I like do one or two, I I won't be like selling them to make a profit. If I sold them, they'd be sold at like the covering the cost it was to make them.
Yeah.
Just so that like it gets the work out there, and like I might even just like, you know, depending on how things go in the YouTube space and things like that, like, you know, I might just like do a giveaway for a couple of them just after a video. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it'd be cool to be able to just have something where I'm like, I printed 25 of them on a or 50 of them on a limited run.
Mhm.
I have the first one of them. I'd get them all shipped to me so that I could add like a personal message or sign them or something like that. So it makes it like a properly personal like completion of a project rather than just be like, cool, if you want to buy them from this website and it just goes and it just doesn't feel like I don't know, to me it feels like you've put all this time and effort into like making the photos, arranging the book, getting it all printed. It's quite a personal, like long process.
Yeah,
To then just have it like clinically printed and sent with no like personal touches doesn't feel right.
yeah, agreed, yeah,
So I think if I did them, I'd get them here, and then I'd just or either like write like a quick thanks to each person that bought it, or even just like number and sign them just so there's like a personal touch to them. I just feel like yeah, that'd be quite nice because yeah, scenes like I've seen them slowly coming back. Like I've seen quite a few people on YouTube starting to make them again, which I think is great because we're all too quick now to just not have any physical copies of things we shoot, which is why I love like using instant cameras sometimes. So you've got like a physical copy of that memory.
yeah.
I'm hopefully getting or picking up a one of the Instax wide printers soon because I've got a bunch of Instax wide film because I have an Instax wide. Take a shot every time I said Instax wide, and then like just being able to like on this board here, like I'm going to start putting more of like the memories physically on there because I don't look at photos on my phone. I don't look at photos on my Instagram. Like, but here and having them physically is just like I know it's probably a bit of nostalgia as well, but like being able to hold a memory is quite nice. So being able
Yeah,
to like hold something that you've made and have it go out to the world would just be sick. And a book is cool, but I feel like it's a much bigger project. Like it has to be properly done, properly made. People are expecting like a different level of quality when you publish a book than they are when you release a zine with like 50 photos in it and a few bits of like text or messages. Um, but yeah, like I think it'll be sick. And I
yeah.
look forward to I'm gonna hold you to it. I look forward to in 10 years' time holding your book in hand. Okay. If it gets released,
Timer.
I'm buying it.
Yeah, set a timer, yeah. I have a theme in mind, I've just gotta execute it now, so, yeah, I'll get there, man. I mean, do you know what? I don't even wanna release a book to be able to sell it, like, as in make money, I don't really care about that, I just wanna be able to see the process through, hold a physical copy in my hand, even if it's just one copy and say,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, "I put my time and effort into this, and I'm now holding it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do that. Trouble is I keep taking these photos that I wanna include in this book, and then I put them on Instagram, and I'm just like, "Well, I can't have that now." So, you know, need to learn how to keep things like, you know, and not share.
Yeah.
I just love sharing my work, but I need to start, you know, keeping things for, you know, for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, makes
bad
sense.
on that.
Okay, I have a couple of questions that I ask everyone, and
Yep.
I would like your rapid fire answers. The last one, less rapid fire. The last one, you can have a little think, take your time on.
Okay.
Uh, three rapid fires and and a fourth. So, if you could only use one moving forward, would it be prime or zoom lenses?
Prime.
If you could only use one film stock moving forward, would it be black and white or color?
A colour.
And do you prefer sunrise or golden hour?
Sunrise.
Okay, damn. And then I mean, this kind of touches on what we were speaking about earlier, but if money was like no object at all, and it doesn't have to exist. I've had answers previously where people have just made the camera up on the spot, but what would be your dream camera?
Um, Damn, that's a tough one. I would love a Mamiya 7. I'm just
Yeah,
throwing that out there. A Mamiya 7, Mamiya 7 or a Mamiya 7 II, without a shadow of a doubt, that's up there for me as, like, you know, greatest medium format camera of all time, or definitely
yeah,
one of. Um, yeah, that is an expensive camera. They're like £3,000 now. It's just an old camera, you know, from like, you know, the '90s, early 2000s.
yeah,
Um, that would be my go-to. But I don't know, man. If I could like develop a camera that didn't exist, so like I say, like our other conversation, like I don't know where camera technology is going to go, but I wouldn't know. I can't think of what I would need or want from a camera that I don't already have.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So if money was no object, yeah, it'd be a Mamiya. I wouldn't care about any Leica or anything like that. It just doesn't really bother me. I don't shoot
Mhm.
35 mil, but yeah, Mamiya for me, or I don't know, man. So maybe some sort of some form of large format camera, like an 8x10 or something like that. Like
Mhm.
Charmony do some beautiful, beautiful hardwood handmade cameras. It's like a work of art. I'll probably be too afraid to even like use it, but it's just like an art piece. So something along those lines. Yeah, something along those lines. Keep it
Awesome.
simple. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. The some of the 8x10s are incredible looking.
yeah, they
I
are.
like this. That's one of the things I do want to try at some point. Whether it just be like know someone that has it and go and shoot like one slide of film just to be like, I've done it and I've tried to frame up everything through the back of that camera
Yeah.
and I've gone through the process just because it's so interesting and it's so intricate that like I think I'd just love to just give it a go at some point because it's something I've never ever done.
Yeah, and to make things more complicated as well, you're working upside down. The image
You
is
are,
upside
yeah.
down. Yeah, so it's like you'd feel like trying to frame something upside down. You think, oh yeah, that's easy, but it really isn't. Because it goes kind of against everything that you see. It's just such a cool but intriguing process. And there's some guys out there that just make it look so easy, like Brian Scootmat, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Brian Burks, Henry O'Head, people like that. They've done some incredible things with those cameras, and obviously you've got to think about the ghosts, the greats as well, Ansel Adams and um, Joel Sternfeld and things like that. But yeah, there's some people that use those cameras quickly and you just think, Jesus, that's what you're doing is not a quick process, but they've just mastered the gear or their camera. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
second
yeah.
nature. So yeah, they're cool cameras, man. They really are.
It would be, it'd be insane to give it a go one day, as I say.
Yeah, man. Well, I
Um,
mean, I get mine in January. I think it's like an 8-week lead time. But if we ever get a chance to meet up, I'll bring it and we can have a
yeah,
play with
man.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was you that I saw that was it. It's coming in January, right? I think it's early
Yes,
mid
yeah, so
January. Yeah,
it's ordered. It's like a 6 to 8 week lead time. It might be a bit longer with Christmas shutdown and stuff, so it could be like
yeah,
February, but yeah, it's all handmade, isn't it? So, yeah, it's
yeah.
like I think they're made to order essentially. It's an
Damn.
Intrepid as well. It's an Intrepid 4 by 5, so they're a UK-based company.
Mhm.
I don't know where they're actually based, but, they're a small company and because 'cause they're from the UK, I feel like it's important to support small businesses, independent
Yeah,
businesses, and especially one that's from the UK too.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, yeah, I mean, I know you know Chris, who was my first guest.
Chris Saunders. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I watched the
um,
video, yeah.
and we kind of had a chat after about like the possibility of meeting up, going out in London, spending a day doing photography, and then and having a beer after. So
Yeah, for
if
sure.
that happens, I'll let you know, and we
That'd
can
be
all
good.
meet up,
Yeah,
do
I'm
it
just
that
gonna
way.
be that idiot with, like, the huge slow camera,
That's
in the
fine. That's
London.
fine. I'll be the idiot with an old camera that it just isn't as big. It'll
It'd
be
be less
fine.
inconspicuous though, wouldn't it? I've just got this
Yeah,
giant box, like, "What are you carrying that around?" I probably won't bring that into London, to be fair, like,
yeah, it's
um
probably a wise
yeah.
move.
Yeah, that camera will be for slower, like, landscapey type days rather than the chaos of, like, London. I'd be afraid that someone would just nick it or kick kick it over or something, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
down for a little, meet up, down for taking photos, down for a beer after, that sounds good.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for being a guest, sir. Much appreciated. I like it was as soon as I was like putting some ideas together. I remember you were the first. I think you were the first person to respond to my like call out to people to come on the show,
Nice.
and it was actually like pretty quickly after I'd put it out as well because I was like, I have obviously like I follow a bunch of photographers. I have a bunch of photographers follow me and stuff on Instagram, and I was like, it's less about like getting guests, more about like getting the right guests, like people whose work I like and I think should be seen by more people, and that like will have a story to tell. Because anyone can just be like, "Yeah, I'm a photographer. Here's my photos," and then that's it. Um, and there was a few people that I kind of like had in mind, and you were one of them. And then you came back to me so quickly, and I was just like, "Yep." That's why, like, I basically
Yeah.
responded back to you, like, "Yeah, great. When can you do? Like, let's just
Yeah.
get it done ASAP."
Yeah, I'm really this is a first for me, and I'm really grateful that you like allowed me to come in here and talk because yeah, like I say, it's a new experience for me and never done anything like this before. But I just got so much passion and love for photography. I could sit here for hours and just talk about this stuff for you, and I've just got so much stuff in my head that has to fall out. But I'm just grateful for you listening and allowing me to come on here and just talk about the things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, man, 100%. This is like there's two reasons like wanted to do this, and I've been thinking about it for ages, but I just in the back of my mind I was just like, like the anxiety creeps in me, like no one will want to come on the show, and no one will listen to it, so why do I even bother? And then recently I was just like, do you know what? No, like just do it. And there's two reasons. One is the kind of like selfish reason where I'm like, I just want to learn as much as possible. And so hearing from more and more people is only going to aid me with that. But two, it is hard for people to see your work nowadays, because even
Yeah,
if you post it everywhere, everyone's doing the same. And
yeah,
so to have the opportunity to be like, hey, I like your work. I think other people will like your work, or even like, hey, I haven't really seen your work much, but let's share it out to like a medium where it's a little different. People aren't just seeing photos; they're like learning more about the person that took them and their story and their like journey through photography. I was like, I just think that's like a really cool chance, like that I get to pass those stories on to other people. So I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna miss out on that. Like I get to learn, everyone gets to learn, the person gets to share their work. Like it's a win-win-win situation. So yeah, I'm just really glad that only one episode's technically gone out at this point by the time that while we're recording this, but like it was received really well, and the people that I talk to and respect in photography that have watched it and come back to me and give me feedback, it's all been good feedback as well. And they're the kind of people that I'm trying to show this to, is just other people that are in the field and
yeah.
like the genre. So yeah, no, I'm really happy. I'm really happy you could come on. And we'll have to have you back. We'll get you back on again. We'll be chasing you up to find out how that book project's going.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I'll. Yeah. I'd love that. I really would. Yeah. I'm hoping whenever that call comes back, I'll definitely have something I can confidently say. Yeah, I'm working on this book. I'm definitely working on it. I just need to. If I can get away with being lazy, I will certainly be lazy. So I just need to
Yeah.
give myself a little bit of a kick because I can get very complacent very quickly.
Mhm.
I really need to push myself. I need to do that because I start too many things and never finish them.
I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, I'm such a procrastinator, man. Or I'm just it's like a million things at once or nothing. It's like it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know why I do it, but that's just how my brain works.
That's right. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I just get exhausted by all the ideas, and then I'm just like, oh, I'm over this now.
I've got too many things to start. I can't start any of them.
I know,
I'm
yeah,
gonna have
I
to sit
know,
down.
yeah, it's mad.
Well, as I say, yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for bringing some solid photos on and telling me and everyone about your story. And yeah, well, as I say, we'll definitely have to have you back in the future for sure.
Appreciate it, dude. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no worries. Do you want to just tell the people where they can find you? I'll put links in the description as always. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
good to sell yourself.
yeah, Instagram is ericisdead.jpg. That's JPEG with an E. My YouTube is also the same spelling, but I think if you search me, it's Eric is dead, but with three Ds. I started my YouTube channel earlier this year just to share my work. So it's Eric is dead. But yeah, you can search me on Instagram by my name, Eric Toe, and I'll come up. Yeah, that's how you get me. I don't have a website. I don't have Twitter or X, whatever it's called. I have a Substack, but I don't really use it. I don't post on it anyway. But yeah, Instagram and and YouTube, or I'll even exchange emails if you want to go old school.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Well, thank you very much, sir, and to you who are watching, thank you very much for watching another / listening to another Prime Focus, and I'll see you in the next one.